And good afternoon, good evening. I am at it in here in Midtown Manhattan. Well, it's not Midtown. I would say it's Chelsea. Not Chelsea, sorry, Gramercy Park. Would that be considered Midtown? No, Midtown is uptown. But today is the exhibition. My photos are on exhibition with a bunch of great artists. So I just wanted to make sure I bring that to you guys. Yes, we are here live, but I wanted to also show you the view. Hold on a second, make sure my mic is on. I don't think my mic is on. Here we go. Testing, testing. I think the mic is on now. And let's see let's get our camera oriented. And I want to show you guys the view. I want to check out this view. Look at this view. Look at the view. Park Avenue, y'all. This is Park Avenue. Park Avenue. And you believe it or not, I was here early this morning and there was that billboard that's all white. There was a billboard there. They're changing it that fast. I got good shots this morning. But look at all of these. Something I love about New York City, and that's the water towers. But also, you don't get to see all the greenery on people's roofs. Look at this. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that view. Isn't this view amazing? Look at the people that live. Could you imagine the people that live underneath that tower? It's such a great shot. That's such a great shot. So, what I have here is my camera is right here as well. So, I'll be taking pictures as well. And I'm going to zoom in on that because it's such a good shot. And I'm trying to create a, um, a book on water towers. I love water towers. I love them. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hopefully, I know that this is a hot day in New York, just so you know. But look at this. Look at the views. The views are beautiful. But let me take you inside. And there is also a lot of beautiful other photography. This is another photographer. I don't know the name of the. Oh, sorry. It's Annie Coombe collection right there. Oh, wait, that's the furniture. My bad. I don't know who the photographer is. I thought he put. Oh, here it is. Bridges. There it is. There it is. Bridges, drones, portfolio, Ari Berling, framed print 16 by 20s, and Sunshine Skyway Bridge, Fig Bridge Group, Tampa, Florida, Cuomo Bridge, American Bridge, Terrytown, and Kosciuszko. What a collection. Look at that. Beautiful shots. Beautiful by Ari. This is out in Greenpoint to Queens. Beautiful bridge. Beautiful bridge. Hello. And then you look at this one right here. Again, the glare is hard. It's hard to see because of the glare. But let me see if you can get. I'm gonna get close in there. You see that? That's the new Cuomo Bridge. And but what a great showroom! What a great showroom! Here's another one. I love this one with the encased in fog. So Ari, cheers to Ari. Ari has a great batch of photos here. And so let me just go in. Let me see if I can get in there. Okay. And there are people all over at this event. And I'm just gonna stroll around. And yeah, what's beautiful about the all all steel company is that they have beautiful furniture, beautiful um, for your office and your spaces. Really nice, really nice. And on the other side, there's some other art. Let me take you to the other art. So there's people here. They're eating. This is one of the artists. Do you mind being on camera? Oh, okay. So tell us who you are and what's your what's your artwork that you're displaying today? Okay.
and my late grandmother collected a lot of things throughout travel.
Mm-hmm.
It's like museum at her house that we dedicated. So not really dedicated, but just an example of her life.
Okay.
So
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm seeing.
the collection kind of explores the collections that we build during
Mm-hmm.
our lifetimes, and it's really about family, both chosen and blood family, and what it means to really create a space, but also
Mm-hmm.
create a community.
You can keep talking. I'm just gonna just put this right there. That way they can hear you better. So, but so your inspiration is family.
Yeah, it's the idea of family and like what his family means a lot of different things to different people.
Yes.
Always interested in the different ways that families take place. A lot of people think of family as just like your blood relatives, but a lot of the times that can also be friends and people that you're not biologically.
Yes. Yes.
Really important too because life is really hard. My friends have been there for me through a lot of things. I moved away from home when I was 18 to go to college, and I don't spend a lot of time back there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important to me personally that I like have this community of people that I can kind of rely on and connect with and see on a more frequent basis.
Yes.
I would when I'm at home, where I spend all my time with my parents and my sister when I'm there. So this idea of like the people that I consider within my family are all biologically related to me.
Yes.
They are some people that are just friends that I've known for a long time and have been through a lot of things together. They've been there for me. I've been there for them, which is really nice. So the collection is intended to really encourage you. It's a collection of 12 different chairs. You're encouraged to kind of have your friends and family.
Yes.
They pick different chairs, and pick a chair, and it becomes this really nice tapestry around the dining table.
Yes.
You would break bread with.
You have the chairs, and your chairs are located in the front, correct? Oh,
Here.
oh, wait, there's one. Oh, there. Oh, they come. Oh, the chairs here. Oh, they're all over. So we're gonna check out her chairs,
Yeah.
and now you got the. Now you have the story behind the chairs. And I came in early, and I got a glimpse of the chairs, but I didn't. I couldn't put everything together. I said, "Oh, this is part of the showroom," but no, it's your work. It's your work, and it's so good to see it. Now, I see a lot of also African design in it. Are you inspired, or are you from the continent?
No, I mean, in a way, yes, but not directly.
Okay.
My family is from the U.S. and we're enslaved.
Okay.
Slaves. Uh, interested, which I know my family.
Yes.
I've learned a little bit about some of the like regions.
Yes.
But not specifically. So I know that I have some Cameroonian family on my mother's side. My dad's side.
Well, your chairs are awesome, and I'm sure I will see them in the museum somewhere. I am sure I'm going to see them in a museum. So, guys, we're going to walk around and look at her chairs. And thank you for and sharing, what you do and your chairs and being an artist here at this exhibit. I am also an artist here. I have the photos from different parts of Africa and also here in New York.
The elephant.
The elephant, yes, the elephant and the young girl from Ghana.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're artists together on this mission to share the arts with the world. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, you saw that nice and live. We're live. Thank you so much. Sorry for taking your seat. But check out the chair. Check out the chair. It says, "Please do not sit." And this is Annie Bloom's collection. The Annie Bloom's collection right there to the front of the wall. And then you see also my photo right there. Right there is called She's this Girl. So that's my work there. And there's all kinds of, there's lots of people here gathered, lots of people. And oh, they moved me here. They moved me. Oh, this is a good spot to put it. This is my other photo. It's called The Future Awaits You, Young One. And here's that. I photographed this in Ghana. and at the Slave Castle. So this is on display here. This is on exhibition here, which is great. And if they scan the code, then they can get all, more information. So that's my work as well. I love the way they put that there. And then here's Brianna Love's chair. It's beautiful, beautiful design. Look at that. How you doing? Good. How are you? Good. And so we just talked to Brianna just now. Hello. Hello. And here again, this is Brianna's chair. Want another one? Beautiful. I like the way they put it in their rooms like this. Really good. And then also, there's another artist. She's 18 years old, and this is her work. This is the work of Amani Pringle. Amani Pringle. And it's called Workbench with Bags. 18 years old. She's doing her thing. Doing her thing. Okay? So let me take you around again. And again, you see all the different spaces in this showroom. Again, this is all steel showroom. So if you're looking for office furniture, oh, here's another one. Here's another Brianna chair. Look at that. Beautiful. I like the way they're using the office this way. They changed it up from when I came early today. And let me pop this off so you don't hear echo. But look at that. Look at that. That is beautiful. That's a beautiful chair. I love the way she put that together. The crafting. This one is called, see, what role does material play in your art? There you go. Let me just pop that there so you can see it and you can read it. Here you go. There you can also scan a code if you're looking at this on your screen. Very good. Look at the detailing. I love the way she incorporated the squares into the chair, sand it down nice and smooth. And I love the arching and the circle, the curves. Look at that. Go ahead, Brianna Love. I like it. I like it. Brianna Love is a furniture, spatial and material designer and researcher with a focus on stability. There you have it. And you saw me interview her earlier. Okay, what else is here? Good job, yeah. Okay, so now they have all the food. So I ate before I came here because I try not to eat at these gatherings any longer. Look at those. Look at that fireplace. That's so cool. And again, this is my work. Yay! And so there's lots of guests here. And let me see. So we'll be sitting and having a good time. There's gonna be a panel discussion. So I'm gonna try to get in here somewhere and let me find my connection. Okay, and there's more people. Hello, again, more people. And this is the bar, the best place in the building. Love it. I'm loving all your chairs. So, what's going on, young lady? I'm live here. I am live. Okay. These are these are Michelle and Jennifer. Okay. Here we go. We're gonna take a shot. Let me get this all adjusted here. So I was taking pictures outside. Now I'm gonna take pictures inside. Here we go. This one is a peach flavor. Oops, sorry about that. Here we go. Now we're ready. There you go. So just taking pictures. Very good. So and I interviewed Brianna. Oh, that's great. So it'll be on my YouTube channel. I can't wait. You looking sharp. I'm trying. Always looking good. I'm trying. You don't age. And neither do you. You're gonna tell me when I can meet your twin brother. You gotta put it out there. Yes, you gotta put it out there in the world. How's your daughter? How's family?
Lorraine's up front.
Oh,
She's checking in.
oh, I didn't see
Say
it.
hello to her. She's at the
Oh,
check-in desk.
okay.
Yeah, see? She
Gotcha.
she's through elementary.
Yes,
Make sure you say hello at some point.
I'm looking at. Oh,
She's working for Thomasetti. Ask her for a blip.
guys, it was Jennifer. It was. Oh, let me flip my camera around. Let me flip this camera around. So here we go. Let's get some settings in there. Change that camera setting, and we're gonna flip it around to the front camera. Okay, guys. So this is Lady J, and we met at LMNOP years ago, maintained a friendship all these years, and it was her. She is the one, I was gonna say her, but she is the one that recommended my work to the gallery show tonight.
Yes, absolutely. One of my Ron Foster, one of my favorite people on the planet.
So I'm gonna roam around, and I know they have reserved areas. Is it
VIPs.
VIP? Gotcha. Okay, so I'll probably just be standing around somewhere.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go find Rain because we're gonna have to get the show on the road and
Okay, stick to the times, this time schedule. Hello, how you doing? And then, guys, this is also my other photo. Let me just get you. Let me turn this camera around so I can. Let me see here.
Incongruous that you're using a Nikon as a phone stand.
What's that?
You're using a Nikon as a phone handle.
Ah, no, I'm using my Nikon and I'm photographing and I'm taping live. Yes. So, guys, let me check. Let me show you what's. Let me show you.
So you're using the phone as an audio recorder?
Nope, my phone is the actual. I'm online. I'm live on YouTube, sharing the events. However, while I'm doing that, if I see something I like, I can take a picture while I'm doing it. So guys, look, this is where my photo is. It's another photo, and there you see my picture right there. There I am, and we're gonna take a picture of that. Here we go. So nicely, they did a great job in putting this together. You get close. There we go. Nice. And then I'm gonna do this. Excuse me. Excuse me. And this is also how they have it set up nicely. Okay, there we go. So I'm back. I'm back. Okay, I'm gonna just switch this around again to the back camera. And for some reason, they gotta work out this kink because anytime the phone ring, you lose, and you can't get back. So here's another one. This is also my photo. My photo is here. I'm taking pictures of it now, so you can see. And that is again. But there's lots of people here. Lots of people here, and I'm photographing. And then I'm going to go up and sit down a little bit. But this was great. This was absolutely wonderful. And oh, you know what? Let me go the opposite direction. Take some pictures. Really? I love the chair. Chair. Oops. There we go. Sorry about that. There we go. There's the chair. Good job. And let me take a picture of her other chair. And there she is with her. Hi, how you doing?
Okay, how about yourself?
Good.
I'm just eavesdropping on your gear. Sorry. It's a whole fucking part on top of your head.
Mhm.
I'm not even gonna bother being questions. I can't figure it out. I don't deserve to know.
Well, I'm live on YouTube right now. And so I'm live on YouTube. My audience is going to be able to see this and those that pop in. And then I'm photographing as I'm doing it.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
No
I would not have figured that out.
See? Yeah. So I'm just doing,
Love it.
looking at her taking. So I like the way she's sharing.
Negative space and the chairs.
Yeah. I like this that she's sharing. And I'll just put it back and then I'm going to send her it just to support her.
Sure.
But I love her furniture. It's beautiful.
Me too. She just told a really great story about it.
Yeah. So the photography is my photography.
Oh, all right. We're going to go there. We're going to go there next.
So, yep.
This is my starting point.
This is starting point. We got from here, then there's right there, and then it's when you come in the door.
Okay. Thank
So,
you.
so now this one is shot in Ghana. So this is in a slave castle in Ghana.
That's,
And the young lady, the student, was on a school trip.
mhm.
She ran to the window. I took out my phone real quick, took the shot, and then she ran away. And I got the perfect shot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you,
It was like it was sent from heaven.
are you quite familiar with Ghana? You
Yes.
quite a bit.
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
And I'm a photographer. I've traveled in different parts of Africa.
Me too, by the way. But
Oh, really? Photographer?
fortunate enough to do any of Africa besides
What?
besides Tangier. But
Okay.
I would love to.
So photographer. And what do you shoot with?
I'm in the corner.
Oh, that's your work.
That's me.
Oh, come on over. Oh, come on. No, no, no.
Just got
No,
here.
well,
Just got here.
we found the bridge guy. We found the bridge guy.
Oh no! As soon as I said that too, I realized I'm not on live YouTube. It sounds like something I
I love it. I love it.
Oh man.
Well, anyway, this is from Ghana. So this picture, like I said, I was in the slave castle in Cape Coast.
Okay.
And these kids were on a school trip, and she ran upstairs, ran to the window, and it was like the picture that was sent from heaven.
Oh
Because this truly is what represents me.
wow.
And the reason why is because you get this beautiful window. She falls right in the center almost. But then you look at this beautiful white space.
Mhm.
And so she can imagine her future.
It's a blank canvas.
It's a blank canvas.
Blank canvas.
So she's a student and she's looking out this window. And because it showed up as white because of the
Yeah.
exposure,
Yeah.
now it's like, and it gives that little misty feel around her.
Yeah.
And then it really says, the future is yours, whatever you make it.
Let's hope so.
And when I took this photo, that's the message I got from it.
Thank you for blessing the story.
So look, this is the photographer. And then this one over here, this photo, where is the famous fearless girl.
Yes, it is.
Fearless girl. She was positioned in front of the Wall Street Bull in Lower Manhattan. I had just got back home from Africa, and I heard that they want to move her.
Oh,
And I said, "Oh no, they can't move her, but let me get some photos of her while she's with the bull."
right.
And now it's become an iconic photo.
So bad.
This is my number one seller.
Is she gone?
She's now in front of the New York Stock Exchange.
So she got a new assignment.
Yeah, she got a new assignment.
Got a new assignment. She's still hard at work.
She's still working.
Okay.
She's standing right in front of the New York Stock Exchange.
That's great.
And but this shot is most people can't find this shot any longer. Now there were some people that did photograph it. Matter of fact, thousands and thousands of people did it.
Yeah.
Because it was when I would go down to Battery Park, down that area, down to the area in front of the bull. Early in the morning at 7 o'clock, there'll be busloads of people getting off and photographing.
Oh wow.
I mean, it became a tourist attraction in New York.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they moved it because it's to me the juxtaposition of the bronze, both bronze characters, the Wall Street Bull and her standing up against it was such a great.
I know what they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know
And
exactly what
this
they did.
artist did not want that artist to have it compete.
Yeah, she's great. She's doing a little so much truth.
She got too much truth to power.
Truth power. They had to move it.
You had to move it.
Why is she there? Well, you see, capitalism sucks.
So let me take you to the other photo.
Let's do it.
And let's go this way. And so, guys, you're getting to hear the stories behind the photos as well. So I get to share this one.
Here we go. No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So now this photo was taken in South Africa.
Oh, wow.
And I was on what we have every day. We would go out in the morning and in the evening to do our what we call going out into the bush.
Okay.
And we would go out and photograph the animals.
Wow.
And the elephants were always everywhere.
Really?
So
That easy to find.
yes, they were just they're everywhere. And she was giving herself a bath. That's why you see the wetness in the corner. She was spraying herself with yes.
Cool.
She was keeping cool
Yeah.
on a hot summer evening.
Smart.
And then she stopped and paused and she began to move towards me. And then the shadow began to cast upon her.
How much torture?
And then yeah, she came right up to the Range Rover.
Okay.
So we're right in the Range Rover. She's in the distance, and then she literally walks right past me. I could touch her,
Wow.
and took the photo.
I guess nothing prepares you for an elephant.
What's that?
Nothing prepares you for an elephant.
No, nothing prepares you.
Yeah.
Nothing prepares you. You're right. My ranger said, "Ron, stay calm."
Yeah.
And we just said, and the elephants are great. Yeah, they're wonderful creatures. I love them.
I see sometimes them painting,
Yes.
listening to music. I see them hanging on a drum on Instagram.
They are the best. They one of my friends says when we're doing safari, she says they're like us but without the attitude. But then I said, because some of them do have attitudes.
That's true. No, that's true. You do.
Some will get an attitude and will chase you down if you do something wrong.
It's not hard to imagine we're the first species.
Yes. They're mammals, just like us.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm curious about your work. So can we go check out your work and you can share it?
Sure.
Okay. So this is Ari, y'all. See, I remember the name and I remember your name and everything. I mean, I love his work. So let's check. Hey, what's going on? Soul sister, soul sister. So,
Doing this you and me or with camera?
hmm?
If we're doing this you and me or with this is my.
You're on. You will be live. Is that okay?
I mean, I guess makes me only slightly nervous.
And then I can give you the link, and then you can just share it
All right.
about your work.
I'm just gonna pretend that I don't know this. So, one thing that I do like is the safety of being over on this side. It's very safe.
It's very safe on this side, right? This is the safety.
I don't know if it's safe.
But I love your bridges.
Maybe you'll help me through this.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, first of all, what inspired you to take pictures of the bridge? And before you go there, I'm going to turn on this little mic and
Give me a signal if I say something really dumb.
no, you're going to be good. You're fine. You're fine. Most photographers, we're shy. I'm the same way. However, I love sharing people's crafts, so it makes me come out of my shyness.
I see.
And Ari, so you decided to take pictures of bridges, and I noticed that you use the same color palette.
So here's the thing. So one day, so I had been a photographer. Well, I graduated school downtown.
Okay.
95.
Parsons School.
Right when digital is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So all film, all of these major transitions
Mm-hmm.
from chemistry to technology.
Mm-hmm.
And that was obviously huge. But then, I don't know, was it 20 years later?
Mm-hmm.
The camera started to fly. Your camera started to fly.
Yes.
Like, this thing still fly it. So all the things that you want to photograph that you can't, now you can.
Ah.
The sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want with the drone. It's astounding.
So now,
So
what made you get? How did you stumble? You just was curious about drones, or you just
No. I got a job and they said, "Can you use a drone?" And I said, "Sure." And I had no idea how to use a drone.
really?
Apparently, as it turns out, they're easy to use.
Yes.
Very easy. You just hands off and it doesn't crash. It
Yes.
doesn't fall out of the sky.
Yes.
So I guess when I was younger, I always wanted to photograph things that were behind walls.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get in. You can't get in. You get, now there's nothing stopping you.
Yes.
Nothing stopping you. Do whatever you want. So this is also me. I'm an architectural.
Oh,
This
really?
is how I make. This is how I make my living.
Is it so? He's an architecture
Yeah.
photographer, y'all.
That's what I do.
And also, this is another chair by our wonderful Miss Love.
She's cool.
Yes,
I love listening to
her work is
reasons,
incredible.
rationale.
So now, how long you been doing architectural photography?
About 25 years, which surprises me too.
25
That I did
years.
not realize.
And you do headshots and you do corporate shots as
So
well.
I've been working with architects for a long time.
Wow.
So you go into an office and how can you guys write me a check? What are the ways?
Yes.
What are the ways you could do it? So that's one of them. And I like people, and I like photographing people.
Yes.
So that's just something. It's why wouldn't you?
So again, you are one I call the representative of what photographers are today. We are diverse. In the past, you had to be a fashion photographer, or you had to be a architecture photographer, or you had to be a portrait photographer. In today's world, you could be whatever you want to be and just do it with excellence.
Well, I fear sometimes that it also goes into that you have to have 3 jobs. You can't just have one.
Yes.
You have to have like all these hustles.
It's the hustles. It's the hustle.
All these different things. Because sometimes it's kind of like let's see this on there. During the pandemic, everyone left the office.
Yes.
I was heavily invested in office design photography.
Yes.
That was bad for me.
Yeah.
Everybody left. And years before, I was in when I was in California, there was a .com crash. I had all this work. Now I had none of it. So like every 8 years, everything just gets blown sky high. You have to start over.
Yes.
Get some of your old life back, but not all of it.
Not all of
You
it.
wind up just sort of like building this hybrid monster of all these things that you do. I love this because flying. It's flying. It is.
You feel? Can you when you're doing
flying.
your drone? Can
It's
you feel
flying.
the flight?
You take off.
You take off like
You
a.
take off.
My background's aviation, believe it or not.
Yes. Okay.
I went to aviation high school,
Now we're talking.
College of Aeronautics.
Really?
My degree is in aviation business studies,
Okay.
and my associates is in aerospace engineering.
Oh.
Yeah, and I used to run the planes up all the time.
Really?
Yes.
What is that?
However,
The planes out.
well, when we would do maintenance on the planes, we would
Planes? Which planes?
oh Cessnas,
Okay.
Saabs,
Okay. Like
what
a
other
private
thing?
airport, a large.
No, at aviation high school.
Okay.
That was part of our classes for getting our FAA licenses. And
That test is not easy.
no, it is like it is one of the hardest tests in the world.
It's like the driver's test.
Yeah. Because you have to do what's called the practical,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to do the book,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to do the oral
And
exam.
the maps.
Oh,
Maps.
yes. Well, that's when you learn your FARs and learn about the vectors and all that stuff. So now, speaking of that, do you use any of the aviation rules
Yeah.
for what you do and know
Yeah.
understanding vectors and understanding that FARs?
Well, they make you part of the test certification is the same as the pilot's license.
Yes.
But you don't use a lot of that stuff. Like you don't
Okay.
flight characteristics ever.
Wow.
But they make you learn it. And is it a bad thing? Probably not.
No.
Because it underscores safety.
Yes.
Safety.
Yes.
And that's the fun part of anything with flying. So you really have to pre-plan everything. That's
Yes.
the part I like about
Do
it.
your checklist.
Give you a checklist.
You gotta do the
So,
checklist.
like for instance, great example here. I need to know where I'm going to take off, and you could use Google Earth.
Mm-hmm.
You can use your cursor and you can hover over everything and you can see how tall everything is. So you can build an airspace that you know you're safe in this box that only.
Really?
So you know what you don't want to do it by sight.
No.
No, you want to.
So you study
Yeah, so you go to work on the maps, you go to work on your flight plan, you go to
your flight plan.
time of day,
Yes.
facing sunrise, you know, it's just so technical.
So now we're gonna go through each one. I want you to tell me exactly what was going on when you did it, and then after that, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you the question of: are you taking your drone photography and using it towards your architecture photography?
That came first, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's an indispensable part of what I do. So
Yeah.
do all the interior stuff. Not that fun.
Mm-hmm.
So
Look at those. Look at that.
this is like the big money shots.
Yes.
Tall shots. A lot of this. So super stylized interior.
Yes.
But when you do all of these things, then you value added is you can go take a picture of the space from 400 feet up. You can go do it just like that.
Yes. Are you?
It's effortless, you know.
Well, I'm gonna. So, it sounds like are they
It's very
starting it?
quiet.
Are they starting?
Probably are.
So give me just this one, and then I'm letting you go.
Okay, what do you want to say?
What inspired you to take this photo?
Infrastructure. I love infrastructure, and there's nothing really more graceful than a suspension bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Is a giant shape, and in this one in particular, finding out where dead center is, that's not easy when you're flying. There's
Yes.
all these considerations to manage,
Wow.
and so it's just thrilling. Like when you, I don't mean to overplay it, but when you finish and you land,
Mhm.
it's just like you've done something amazing. You flew.
I love it.
You flew.
Ari,
Obvious.
it is so nice to meet you.
Me as well.
And I'm gonna have you on my YouTube channel as an interview you on a Wednesday show.
Would you like to have your?
No, I will love you. People will love you, bro.
I like to-
People will love
we
you.
have less of that white guy, please. We have less of him. Anything else?
No.
That you did last week. Maybe that was better. Not that guy.
So many people love droning. As a matter of fact, there's a
They
couple of
do.
people in my community that are photographers that love and would like to know about drones.
Oh, they do too.
So we're gonna have to put you on the
recommend
calendar.
whatever you need. I
Okay.
recommend there.
Nice to meet you.
I think that we could start.
Yeah, we're gonna walk over and it's quiet. We'll talk later. Okay, guys. So now the panel discussion is happening.
You know,
What started as Jennifer and I chatting on the subway, New York style, Google Docs, Excel sheets, and exchanges is now FurnitureMatch. We have a platform that is destined to dedicate surplus furniture to nonprofits and community organizations in New York State. We have nonprofits that are raising their hands saying, I'm ready to go. We've got companies asking us questions, showing their rethinking sustainable decommissioning. And we've got a lot of collaborators that are interested in giving us furniture and donating. We've done a few matches already. We've built an incredible network, and we've spent the past 2 years, brick by brick, building this up to be something ethical, moral, legal, that stands every single checkbox so that we can do this and we can implement this. So tonight, it's not simply a launch. It's the opening paragraph of a new story I'd like all of us to write together. We already have quite a few people in the room that can help us make a difference. A few of them, I don't know if I see them tonight, but Brian and famously wrote in the New York Times, the afterlife of New York's furniture is a portrait of the city's ruins. And if you look around the room tonight, the art, the photography, the music, you'll see these stories reflected right here. To our volunteers, you are the scaffolding behind this entire. Some of you were hanging artwork with me up this morning and reviewing QR codes at midnight last night. Some of you were helping me sort Excel sheets of guest lists and nightmares logistically. one of you is still waiting for me to send you that email. I promise you it's coming.
Mm.
But thank you. Without you, none of this would have been possible. To our sponsors, IITA New York, Allsteel, Henderson, Inside Source, thank you for the leading this evening before we even had a guest list and for being the first to say yes. To the artists, the musicians, the designers, the creatives, your work elevates this evening. You remind us that design isn't about chairs and tables and lights. It's about creating dignity. It's about making space. You've made this a living showcase of what civic design can be. And with that, it is my privilege to introduce my co-founder, one of the most brilliant minds I've ever met in this industry, and our fantastic director of partnerships, Jennifer Beck.
We know that origin stories are not always built by one person. Oh, yeah, I should just speak loud. Many people have been thinking about circular economy for decades. Many people in this room and beyond this room have been looking for meaningful ways to repurpose furniture. There are many who have had these conversations with me for years, There are many people who've had conversations with me and many designers for years. What we are doing is creating this platform with not only all of you, but all of your peers, all of the manufacturers we would like to incorporate, and most importantly, community-based organizations in this country, many times, they never have the capital for improving their space. One of the most basic things you can have is decent furniture. So we would like to ensure that quality commercial furniture is no longer going to be done. I made my first match, considerable match with On Furniture Company in 2017. And community-based nonprofit was introduced to me in Street Heights. And they took the furniture and improved their space. This should be the story. I see Michelle Smalley, I'm going to point her out. Michelle Smalley is a nonprofit banker with JP Morgan Chase. She's a longtime personal friend and believes in community-based organization support. It's very important. So I always say I'm like the matchbox and matches, and Reed is the flint and the fire. And everyone here is going to participate in this initiative and beyond. Because we are not doing this alone. There are many companies who have this as their passion for many years. As far back as 1966. And again, in the 80s it was surfaced. And it keeps resurfacing because we cannot look away anymore. We have to not only create spaces for all, but we also have to take care of our planet. We have to consider circular economy as part of the way we do business. Furniture industry in the United States generates just under $2.75 billion of revenue. That is enormous. Size of some countries' entire GDP. And we are one of the biggest specifiers of furniture. I say we, every interior designer, every interior architect is part of specifying furniture. So we need to be more thoughtful about where it's going after the project is over. And our clients are now on board and want to give back as well. So I want to thank IIDA New York. I want to thank the board, IIDA, and all of our partners at Catalyst for supporting this initiative. Of course, I thank Green over and over, but I also want to thank everyone here. So there are a lot of people that go into these types of evenings, and I'm going to go through. Oh, you've already introduced everybody. We're going to go back. Show you what to do now. Okay. Well.
Creatives, we can go off script.
So in addition to our amazing sponsors this evening, Allsteel, Henderson, and Inside Source. We want to thank our platinum manufacturers, Arnett, LA, and Synergy. Platinum manufacturers Estelle, Human Scale, Boho Group, Sherwin and Williams. Our gold manufacturers, we have Lori Hutner of WB Wood here today. Hayworth, Killhauer, Momentum, Miller Knoll, again. WB Wood. Our silver manufacturers, Allure, Palmer, Senator, Allsteel, shout out. Dunlop, Bentley, Bernhardt, CFI, Core, Evenson Best, Inside Source, Interface, Kimball International, Mannington, Matter, Napier, Joseph McNamara, Narusas, My Concepts, OFS, Hackcraft, Shaw Contract, Rockfont, Technion, Studio, Loom, and our design for associates, Canon, Environetics, Flag, Chancellor, HDR, HOA, HLW, HKS, Perkins and Will, TPG Architecture, Studios, Oakmont, CGF, and a website sponsor. We just had an ID, a brand new website, and they are hosting FurnitureMatch on their platform.
Right.
Cusco, Bennington, Takeo, Certainty, Studio TK, and many, many others who support IIDA in our industry.
Now we get to the fun part, conversation that I have been most excited for. So we're joined tonight by an exceptional panel of people who live and breathe the work we're talking about today. From city agencies grappling with circularity on a policy level to private sector innovators designing the future of commissioning and use. Please help me welcome our panelists to the stage. Thank you. Michael says you guys are too quiet.
So we're gonna speak a little louder. Yes. That's fine. There you go.
Someone say something.
Something.
Thank you. That's too loud, man.
Okay. Everybody test your mic. Make sure it's on. Test.
No, I can't begin.
Turn it on.
It's on.
Set 1, 2, 1. Give us a moment.
And he's setting up. He's also doing the videos.
Thanks, Lauren. You can have one point.
So if for some reason those don't work, we have 2 live mics. Do you mind sharing?
Not at all.
All right, let's go.
No, this is all, we're all about sharing.
All right.
Yes. Okay, good. So tonight's panel brings together leaders of public policy, private sector, nonprofits, aesthetic design, and we're joined by a plethora of people that cover finance, that cover business leadership, and all sorts of things. So let's start with a question to all the panelists. Each of you guys saw a gap in your industry, and you chose to step in. What was the moment, personally or professionally, that made you realize something in the system needs to change? What is the gap that you saw?
Diane, go.
Okay. Can you hear me? I feel like the microphone's on. We can hear you. Okay. Also, you ask my kids, I have a really loud, obnoxious voice, so that'll be good. So for me, the gap that we saw was actually a question. So a few years ago, what we noticed was that all of our clients were asking the same question. And that was, hey, Diane, we really love our new furniture that you helped specify. But what about these hundreds of desks? BWDs, we call them, big wood desks. We have a really big BWD problem. And that was the gap that we saw. Because during the last, I would say 5 to 6 years, 100% of our clients were asking that question.
My, my wife and I took Heather to college. We drove to Boston. Here I am, I launched this company. It's all about sustainability in furniture. Our big goal was get her set up in her apartment with sustainable, reasonably priced furniture. And it was impossible. It was
Yes.
3 days later, we were running to Target and buying pieces. That was a big leap.
So I actually came to this through food policy. I started looking at the food system and there's so many issues. And then through the work I did with sanitation, I got into fashion and textile waste. And that got me into construction and demolition waste. And the more you dig, the more you find that there's same issues. We may not be as far along the process of thinking about it, but so many of the same issues, so many of the same needs. It doesn't matter. And if it's food, clothing, shelter, it's your three basic needs. And we have to look at the things that have come before to find out the processes, systems that work best to apply to the problems.
Yeah, I think for me and my role, briefly, but also just in general, I think was really this focus, not so much of the gap. Certainly there's a gap and there's a huge problem on our hands, but there's also such a big opportunity. So when you pose that question, I immediately thought just of all of the opportunities that are available. There's 37,000 tons of durable goods that go to landfill every year. 80% of all of our furniture will end up in a landfill. And we know, especially the work that we've been talking about all night, is that there are so many opportunities for that reuse to continue. And it's just being able to have access and connections to make sure that you know that those opportunities exist. So being on the front lines and finding these furniture matches has been so eye-opening, because you know that all of these opportunities exist and you are keeping families together, nonprofits keeping their funding focused on the people in the communities, not on furniture. You know that stuff. So
I do have to say, I need to commend you guys, because when Jennifer and I started doing some very ambitious cold calls a few years ago, Berkeley was one of the first to say, we are in. We will offer a free subscribership to our platform to nonprofits and community organizations. And so was the Department of Sanitation, Rebel, and all the early conversations that we started, just realizing how much work you guys have already been putting in on this and how much we can help you to get to that next level. So a quick few rapid fire questions. Diane, when you sit at boardrooms and you hear talks about sustainability, you've seen the full spectrum. You've seen the greenwashing and you've seen actionable things. What signals tell you a company is actually serious, and what uncomfortable conversations still need to happen? And we'll do a mic match. Okay. You know, I would say that the prime indicator is even just the fact that I'm in the boardroom in the first place. I think once I'm in the boardroom, the hard work has already been done. The fact that somebody acknowledges there's an issue that they want to solve, or that they want to make different policy or procedure or program changes, that's where I already know that the hard work, the big step has already been done now. What conversations do you think still need to happen?
I think the question that I would be asking, or that I try to ask all of our clients or people who are interested in this conversation, frankly, is, do you know how much it's costing you to not be circular?
Mm.
I would drop this, but I don't want to. I think the big conversation, so many of us are here, and the reason I started down this path, I mean, I'm an interior designer. Furniture is I'm the original furniture nerd. I was a furniture nerd 25 years ago. I'm proud of it. But the sustainability piece of it really showed up for me the last handful of years. And it's the people who are talking about it, the people who are that you see up here in the front, and probably, frankly, all of you in the audience. Lots of us are here because it's the right thing to do, and frankly, it feels really good to do this type of work. But the conversation, especially today and going through the next 3.5 years, the conversation also really needs to be an economic one. I think that's where we will see real change, is when we can connect those dots for the corporations, the companies, the nonprofits. That's where all the good work will happen.
I'm Buddy.
Alex?
So my colleague, Diane, I'm an unpaid, this is an unpaid service.
I don't know what he's going to say.
Runs an interior design firm. On the side, they want to be called Chemical Green, which pulls together facility managers from around the country to talk about the issues, especially about reuse. I know all this because what my little company does is highlight innovation in the field of sustainable furniture. So we have the honor of interviewing innovators, change makers. We interviewed Diane. The great thing they do is they pull together, they're looking at it as a systemic issue. The terrible thing is that what's blocking us is that they have to do it like on the side. There's no systemic, you said the economics. It's an externality. It's not systemically supported. It's not corporate supported. It's not government supported. It's something that they have to do as almost as a hobby. And that when we break that frontier, when it's an intrinsic part of the business model, a circular business model, we're going to know we've really gotten to a different level.
And that's what we're going to try to do with FurnitureMatch. I mean, this is not a side project or a pilot test, initiative or whatnot. We're building an infrastructure that can reroute values from those that have an excess and abundance of it to those that have none whatsoever. Absolutely. Okay, Michael, since you have the mic, you have a gift of making circular economy sound like it's common sense. So if you were to explain this to a 5-year-old, how would you frame it?
Well, I got to cheat because you sent us the questions in advance. I was thinking, when I was a kid, I was nonstop Lego, making things with Lego all day. And I think if someone had said, okay, you build your Lego structure and then you toss it out, to me now, it would be, it's ridiculous because part of Lego is, I just gave the gazillion pounds of Lego that I had from 55 years ago. I just gave them to my niece and nephew, right? 55 years later, it's circular, they're reusing it. And when I was 8 and using Lego to build things, it wasn't just that I could keep the next day building something else. It was the fun of transforming, like I built a race car and then I could turn it into an airplane hangar. It was the material transformability. Mr. Ms. Bible.
Thank you, Michael. Alyssa.
I'm just joking and saying, I have a 5-year-old, they don't need this one.
So Alyssa, your backgrounds and the big food, fashion, and all furniture. What patterns have you seen across all of these different industries? And where is there a place where perhaps the governments might have a bigger role to step up?
So to answer the first question, I think planning is a big piece of it. People think about waste as the last thing. It's not something you can put systems in place for, and then at the end, you're like, oh crap, I wanna do something, but we don't have time, we're out of budget. I don't have the resources, I just don't know. So you have to lay the groundwork early in a project. You have to think about what you're going to do with your waste to find out how much of it's not actually. And then you have to create a system or connect with those that are working in the field. This is not something you can do alone. You have to build out a network, whether that means you're doubling profits or you're finding resources like the domain evidence exchange, which I work for the Department of Sanitation, or Replay, like Emma works for. There are resources out there. So use that network, put the feelers out early, often, and you will find solutions. They might not always be free. But there are solutions out there and there's more.
And if you need a spreadsheet of resources, hit me up on LinkedIn, because I've got hundreds of resources in this spreadsheet that we just collected over the years.
Mm.
And we'll put them on the messages.
We collected all of the resources and they're all in the boots together.
You can also reach out to me, I'm based in New York, so it's really New York specific, but Donate NYC is a public service. We're free, we are here to support people figuring this out. So.
I would also say Alyssa is currently handling 700 dormitories being liquidated. So if any of you know tonight want to volunteer and help her out, please.
Mhm.
It is still usable. We're finding first to the agencies that need it, and then we're opening it up to nonprofits and anybody else who has ideas that you get out of. Well, and then there'll be a whole academic building next year for us. So the fun never ends. I think there was
So that the volume of the mountain is the top of the hill.
Well, what's your second part of the question? Oh, how can city government or government in general support? I think policy is a big thing. Levels of playing field, so everything's working on the same things together. But I've also found in my role that we have to create sort of pre-competitive. We can bring stakeholders to the table that might not always want to play nice, but because we're kind of this neutral party, because we're not here to make money, like we can bring everybody together and help coordinate and collaborate and actually get big things done. And I know that's not always what government is known for, but I can guarantee that we get.
You said a very interesting friction point where public sustainability commitments meets the actual realities of procurement. Where do state organizations getting stuck between their lofty goals and their actual consumer purchasing behaviors?
Yeah, this has circularity can have a tendency to become just a branding exercise for organizations, and it's something that we really have to be conscious of. And I've seen that main breakdown happen in the design for procurement and the procurement reality. So it's really easy and fun to say, we are going to source all sustainable furniture, and we are going to procure everything we use to remanufacture. And then the reality for procurement comes down, and they have timelines. They have budgets that don't take into consideration reuse or remanufactured product. And they are often, their performance metrics are based on the cost of their bid and the timeline they have to do it in, and not thinking ahead. That's such an important factor, but they are operating on limited timelines. And so there is this misalignment between what we're saying and what we can actually do and how we can solve for that. So not just having this be a marketing campaign and then the sustainability as this afterthought, but really operationalizing it, really funding it across the organization and having the metrics for each team be tied to sustainability so everyone feels this buy-in. We have some amazing clients that are leading the way, and those that are starting at the top. And this is a message coming from leadership, trickling down through all of the teams. And they all feel this sense of buy-in and commitment because it's their shared goals. So in the design intent and the procurement reality is where that breakdown happens. But we see some cool solutions.
Can I add something to that? For sure.
One of the things that we really learned in working with dozens and dozens of higher ed, healthcare corporations, lots of times it's really hard to just even know where to start. So one of the things that we really talk about, and if you ever stumble on my LinkedIn, you'll hear me say ad nauseum, just do one thing. And because this is a room of really influential designers and specifiers and interior architects, here's just one thing that you can do. On your next furniture RFP, just add a sentence that says 10% of your response should include reused or repurposed or remanufactured product. It doesn't have to be an entire elephant that you need to eat. Just take one bite, 5%, 10%. Imagine if you were the federal government, the largest consumer in the world, I believe, or certainly in North America. Imagine if they just mandated 5% reuse in their projects. So all of us together, we can do great things and we work together, and it really doesn't have to be big. It really can start small.
I think we're good, right?
We're good. So let's end with the final question for all the panelists. When we sit here 5 years from now, what do you hope has changed?
Can I get really nerdy?
Yes.
In 5 years, I want to break the conception that furniture that can be assembled, which then can be disassembled, can be shipped flat, hugely different carbon footprint, is no longer synonymous with inexpensive furniture. The high-end furniture is flat packed and is disassembled so that it can be moved and reconfigured.
So my dream is, again, this is really nerdy, but that there's just more systems in place that people are thinking about and moves first, and that there's resources that are readily available for everybody to access, and that we have more places to store each. Somewhere in New York City.
We'll work on it. I would say 5 years. I think, okay. My hope is that we're not talking about the gaps with all of the solutions. There's still going to be gaps that exist, certainly, but how to act shouldn't be one of them. We should be all connected. There's so many resources out there, and we're talking to people about, especially procuring sustainable furniture, they don't know where to look, and it's creating this environment where all of these shared resources are widely known, and that we're just talking about all of the opportunities. We're talking about the opportunities that benefit nonprofits, but also the jobs that are being created and the revenue that is being earned by being able to procure and reuse and remanufacture. So just talking about all the opportunities, not as this like thorn in the side, but such an economic opportunity that we're finally harnessing.
Okay, so I know that the answer I'm supposed to give is about policy and incentives on the local, state, and federal level, but that's not gonna make the mic drop. Here's my wish 5 years from now. How many of you have ever adopted, rescued, fostered a cat or a dog? I would like 5 years from now for all of us to think that rescuing office furniture is as cool as rescuing pets. I know. They don't. You're right. They don't cuddle. They don't cuddle. But I tell you what, my gut spends more time with my office chair than it does with my dog.
Thank you, each of you. I think we all feel it tonight. This is not a conversation about furniture. This is a conversation about civic action, about circularity, and it's much larger than that. I think we have time to take a couple of questions from the audience. If there's anybody who would like to ask a question or comment.
Yes.
I think I don't need it. Okay. So, in this whole program, you know, there, in New York especially, there are a lot of furniture liquidators, quite a few. So how do you interact with them? Because a lot of times they won't take certain furniture because it's not large enough. You know, it's not a large enough load for them to resell. So the question I have is, what, have you thought about the interaction with the liquidators as well? Because they,
I was just gonna say with this project, I'm working on that now, so there's sort of a level of priority, so because the project I'm working with is quasi-governmental, we are focusing our first round of interest on city agencies that provide support services. So that's sort of the first people, but they have limited capacity. So then we're reaching out to our nonprofit partners, Materials for the Arts, big reuse, places that do this kind of work every day. But they also have storage capacity, selling things in their store. And so then that's where I bring in the conversations with the liquidators. Because there is more cost associated, but that is looking at, well, you're gonna pay someone to cart that away. They might sell it themselves. They might have their own relationship with the liquidator, so you might as well do it direct. So I think it's just understanding the scope of the project and where each resource fits in.
So your question is a very understandable and common question, so much so that in our spare time, we really look about this. So there is at communitydesign.com, there is a free playbook about sustainable decommissioning and is available to anybody and everybody. And I will say, based on our conversations about that very question these last few years, that answer often means a multifaceted or multi-strategy approach, right? So having to tap into reuse, reconfiguration, resell, donation, and recycle. In sort of in that order of impact and priority. But the more often than not, to decommission a project, it requires multiple strategies.
And I will note that I didn't write a book. So kind of weird that I'm following you, but I digress. We were facing that same thing at Briefly. We help organizations digitize their physical assets so they can share them within their own organization. And you don't need them anymore. We post it to our public reuse marketplace for nonprofits and other small businesses throughout the country. And we kept running into the fact that our clients and partners had visibility that they hadn't had before. And now they realize we need to move this out of our organization. How? And I'm faced with the challenge of, we want to start an entire liquidation company as well. No, we don't need to recreate the wheel. There are already organizations doing this that are mission aligned. So I work directly with liquidators. I have a whole preferred network of liquidators that we work with on projects all across the country to make sure that they are done in a sustainable way. The comment that you raised about it's not big enough, that's a very real issue. We will scope any project, but if it isn't big enough, if you have that affordability of time, any business, any nonprofit can create a profile on Briefly, you can post those assets. So then hopefully you find those homes for it. You don't need that storage because you're thinking in that proactive way. You'll follow up.
yes, no, and one other thing. You know, I personally, and I'm sure many people in this room are involved in non-for-profit, you know, helping not-for-profits, not doing business with not-for-profits, but on. So in the past, I have reached out to these liquidators to ask them to donate to the non-for-profits that are reaching out, and they've done so also. So that's another avenue to explore.
Absolutely. And I think the important thing is you feeling empowered to ask. So many people in procurement or in facilities don't always feel that empowerment to ask, where are my items going? Or I want to make sure that my first option is finding reuse. You hold the cards, so you have that empowerment. So that's a great practice. I hope everyone takes away with that, knowing you have the ability and the right to know where your items are ending up. If you want them to end up in a good place, you have the right to ask for that. And that's to your comment about the RFP, just including that in that RFP as well.
Or when you specify
Please tell me the end of like real question.
Hi, yes, thank you so much. Great forum. I love what you guys have to say. Specifically speaking, I think that it's very important to begin at the end. When you have these conversations with major manufacturers, if there's something that I can really like ask for you guys to maybe develop is how do you communicate beginning at the end with major manufacturers as we move forward? Because it has to be, the beginning has to be the end, and the appeal has to appeal to the people that are making it. So just, I mean, it's as a comment and a really like amazing job for all of you guys, and I really appreciate all of what you're saying.
So she asks, how do you begin by starting at the end?
That's a huge, it still exists, as you know.
Yeah.
It's just still a gap that exists. And that accountability between manufacturer and client, nonprofit, whose responsibility is it at the end of the day? And who is that ownership? And no one is taking ownership right now. So that's what we're trying to solve for. It's an exciting challenge. It's a daunting one at times because there is a misalignment of these values and what is driving every organization. So it's a challenging one, but it's not unsolvable. It's change management as well.
Absolutely.
And yet making sure that there is this accountability. Briefly, if you post your assets on the platform, when a nonprofit receives those items, we make sure that they can keep those items. And if they don't want them, that's why they have access to replace, and then another nonprofit can share it and receive it. So where we're trying to happen.
And what we're building even further than that is, let's say this needs to be on next week, no nonprofit can come pick it up. Let's give it to some local people who come pick it up for free and sell it, and they make an entire living off of it. Let's give it to a furniture artist that'll take it and turn it into a beautiful piece. Let's make sure that we play the most musical, the most complex game of musical chairs, where everybody gets a chair, literally. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to add something. We have a responsibility to design for construction.
Yeah.
Even if we are not furniture designers ourselves, the person who just spoke before, Elizabeth Koresh, from
Bring design.
Great Design. When workstations are designed, they're plastic laminate counters. That is the most wasteful part of a piece of furniture that can be reconstructed and remanufactured. You cannot remanufacture plastic laminate counters. So I'm pushing manufacturers to use recycled products and create resilient counters that can be reused, or repurposing material from other purposes that can be converted into countertops for remanufactured furniture. There are a lot of remanufacturers out there, some very large ones, who are interested in developing this technology with companies. So we can push for this as part of our design imagineering. How can we design for deconstruction? And how can we design thinking about the second life of furniture?
We have such a creative industry. I mean, there is no other greater creative industry than ours. And yet it's interesting when it comes to furniture specifications and furniture planning, we seem to just go dumb. We just hit that button, let's just do the thing that we've always done before. And so imagine as designers, the opportunity to be really creative, even if it's a one-off piece that ends up with bevel, or if it's a art piece. There's some incredible examples from the showroom here of how furniture has been repurposed. There's an incredible opportunity for creativity for all of us designers that frankly, we owe it to each other to hold each other accountable and figure out how we can elevate that creativity and yet still do really great things for our spaces, for our kids, for the planet.
Two quick other points. One is on the economic side that some manufacturers, I've seen it more with small scale, more artisanal furniture companies that are hungry to diversify their revenue streams. It incentivizes them to start buying or
So guys, I'm gonna turn this camera around. I hope you enjoyed this gathering today. Hold on a second. Let me get my camera right. Here we go. And put that to the front. So good to see y'all all. And again, you know how I roll. I try to bring you in on what I'm doing, and when I'm on the move, I want to share it with you all so that way you can learn, be educated. The great thing about being educated on, you know, you guys know I am a interior designer. And so this is a great opportunity to share with you both of my worlds. Being here as an interior designer, but also being as a photographer, and also being here as an exhibitor. We couldn't get a better match in this wonderful evening. So guys, I'm going to let you guys go. And thank you for joining me today. I hope you have an amazing evening and day and tomorrow. And until next time, I'll see you on the move. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.